The market outlook. What is the market for your company product like now? It is growing. If so, uh, then there are likely quite a few customers left to go around. If it is flat, then the competition for customers is likely to be fierce. Is the market splintering? Is it breaking up into niches? What is the yearly standard deviation of a stock given monthly standard deviation? Standard deviation yearly equal to standard deviation monthly root of 12. Given a data set, how do you determine its sample distribution? Please provide at least two methods. Plot them using histogram. It should give you an idea as to what parametric family uh, exponential normal log normal might provide you with a reasonable fit. If there is one, you can proceed with estimating the parameters. If you use a large enough statistical sample size, you can apply the central limit theorem to a sample proportion for categorical data to find its sampling distribution. You may have 0 by 1 responses, so the distribution binomial may be conditional on some other covariates. That is a logistic regression. You may have counts, so the distribution is Poisson. You may have counts, you may have counts, so the distribution is Poisson. Regression, to fit test chi-square to the goodness of the fit. Also, a small sample, say under 100, will be with compatible with many possible distributions. There is simply no way distribution between them on the basis of the data only. On the other hand, the large simple say more than 10,000 won't be compatible with anything. What is the expectation of a uniform A-B distribution? What is the variance? The PDF is f of x equal to 1 by p minus a. You have to deduct from a from b, then how much we are getting, then 1 by divide that. It means it will take only one from that. That's all. So for ax, a less than or equal to x less than equal to b and 0 otherwise, mean e of x equal to a plus b by 2. That is how much we are getting a plus b to be add, and then that much we have to divide by 2. It means making 50% mean. Variance Vx V of x equal to p minus a whole square divided by 12. It means b minus a to be mm, variance how much you have to find a b in between b a b a deducted from b, and then squaring that, after that deduct divided from 12. What is the difference between the t state and the R2 in a regression? What does each measure? When you get a very large value in one but a very small value in other, what does that tell you about the regression? Correlation is a measure of association between two variables. The variables are not designated as dependent or independent. The significance probability of the correlation coefficient is determined from the t statistic. The test indicated indicates whether the observed correlation coefficient occurred by chance. If the true correlation is zero, regression is used to examine the relationship between one dependent variable and one independent variable. The regression statistics can be used to predict the dependent variable when the independent variable is known. Regression goes beyond correlation by adding prediction capabilities. The significance of the slope of the regression line is determined from the t-statistic. It is the probability that the observed correlation coefficient occurred by chance. If the true correlation is zero, some researchers prefer to report the F ratio instead of T statistic. Okay, F ratio is equal to the T statistic squared. T statistic squared equal to F ratio. The T statistic for the significance of the slope is essentially a test to determine if the regression model equation is usable. If the slope of significantly different than zero, then we can use the regression model to predict a dependent variable uh, for any value independent variable. Okay. Coefficient of determination R squared. Coefficients of determinations is R squared is the square of the correlation coefficient. Square of the correlation. Okay. Square. Its value may vary from 0 to 1. It has the advantages 0 to 1. 0 to 1. Vary. Okay. It has the advantages over the correlation coefficient in that it may be interpreted directly as the proportion of variance in the dependent variable that can be accounted for by the regression equation. For example, an R squared value of 0.49 means that 49% of the variance in the dependent variable can be explained by the regression equation. The R-square statistics is the amount of variance in the dependent variable explained by your model. R-square statistics is the amount of variance in the dependent variable explained by your model. F statistics is whether your model is significant. The T statistics, if it is a linear model of more than one predictor, is a measure of whether or not the individual predictors are significant. Predictors are the dependent variable. The rejection of H naught depends on what it is. If it is about your overall model, you may look at the F and or R square. If it is about the predictors, you look at the T statistic, but only if your overall model is significant. The T values and R2 are used to judge very different things. The T values are used to judge the accuracy of your estimate of the BI, but R2 measures the amount of variations in your response variable. Example explained in your covariates. If you have large enough data set, you will always have statistically significant t values. This doesn't necessarily mean your covariates explain much of the variations in the response variable. What is bigger, the mean or the median? What is bigger, mean bigger or median bigger? if the distribution shows positive skew, the mean is larger. The distribution shows positive skew, the mean is larger than median. If it shows negative, skew, the mean is smaller. Mean is higher than median. Okay. Pretend 1% of the population has a disease. You have a test that determines if you have that disease, but it is only 80% accurate and 20% of the time you get false positive. How likely is it to you have the disease? Fact. 0.01 of the population has the disease given. Data. Test is the only 0.8 accurate given. How likely is it that you have the disease? To identify that you have the disease, you have to test positive and actually have the disease using Bayes theorem. Here applied. So P given A. So multiplying here the same value multiplied with here and then add 0.9, 0.2, then we got it 0.0, probability 0.04. SQL, what are the different types of table joins? What is the difference between a left join and a right join? Inner join, left outer join, right outer join, full outer join, cross join. Simple example. Uh, let's say you have a students table and a lockers table. Inner join is equal to show me all students with lockers. Left outer join would be show me all students with their corresponding locker if they have one. Right outer join would be show me all lockers and the students assigned to them if there are any. Full outer join would be silly and you probably not much use. Something like show me all students and all lockers and match them up where you can. Cross join is also fairly silly in the scenario. It doesn't use linked locker number field in the students table, so you basically end up with a big giant list of every possible students to locker pairing, whether or not it actually exists. SQL joins. The SQL joins select list from table A, left join table B on a key. Okay, understand? Here select list from A table A, inner join tables B. Here also same limits. How many gigabits would you need to run Google Mail? How much do you think Gmail costs to Google? 16,000 GB is 812 month dollar by month. So 1 GB is 0.5 and each user have 15 GB. So $7.5. Gmail has around 400 million